To me, I gotta say this, and it's gonna be controversial. When Bush was president, they came up with the terror and color code.
Yeah, the terror threat alert.
That was helpful.
That is basically the Doomsday Clock. It's the same idea. It's to scare the out of you so that you will maybe agree to certain things that you were uncomfortable agreeing to before. I don't think that this is like some like great thing or whatever. I think it's not that. It's fear mongering.
What is the Doomsday Clock?
The fuck is that?
Is it a Mayan calendar?
The closer it gets to midnight, the more close we are to nuclear annihilation.
Yeah, basically by man-made human destruction.
So it's a 24-hour cycle?
Yeah.
Like every
Basically, it's a clock, and then literally, the closer the hand is to midnight, and it's determined every single year. Every single year, like once a year, they basically assess where the Doomsday Clock
get together.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the National Forest Fire coloring chart, where it's like it's a dry summer, then it's like kind of red or
like extremely
orange.
flammable.
So like based off of like man-made destructive possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay. It's almost like being like, are we at DEFCON 5, DEFCON 4, 3, 2, and then once a year they determine this, and then that will basically be kind of a signal to the world organizations and governments on what we may or may not need to do in response to that type of judgment.
So like it's time to kill the beefs between A and B.
Yeah. So basically, the Doomsday Clock for this year has just been adjudicated, if you will, and it is quote unquote the closest it has ever been to midnight.
Is it like 11:59?
Thanks to who? Huh? Thanks to who?
58.
Thanks to Biden?
Basically, in the last couple of years, it's been at 100 seconds to midnight, and that has historically, like you said, since whenever it was
60s,
created,
I think.
that has historically been the closest to midnight ever. So we were already on that point.
Yeah.
And I think the last 2 years, it stayed at 100 seconds. This year, it just went to 90 seconds to midnight.
Can I ask you guys a question? Does it all feel like that collectively in your head?
Yes.
It doesn't feel like the Bay of Pigs to me.
As far as like the news and the way everything's kind of trending, do you kind of feel like, oh shit, we're about to hit?
It always feels like this, huh?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because then you learn how many nukes everybody has. And it's,
If you pay attention to any news, it always feels like this. And they make sure of it.
It feels different to me because we're not dealing with the Soviet Union anymore.
To me, I gotta say this, and it's gonna be controversial. When Bush was president, they came up with the terror fucking color code.
Yeah, the terror threat alert.
that was helpful.
That is basically the Doomsday Clock. It's the same idea. It's to scare the shit out of you so that you will maybe agree to certain things that you were uncomfortable agreeing to before. I don't think that this is like some like great thing or whatever. I think it's not that. It's fear mongering. That's my hot take.
Do any terrorist groups have nuclear weaponry?
Not a terrorist group, but Iran is. Or do they have it yet?
So that's what everyone's saying is they basically have everything that it takes to build a nuclear weapon, and they might have it already. We don't know.
It's all Stark Industries stuff.
But that's what they said about Iraq.
Yeah.
And Iran definitely is a bigger player because oh yeah, we funded the fuck out of them, but it's fine.
And then there's North Korea.
Well, they already have one.
It's confirmed they got one.
They definitely have a nuclear weapon. We don't know that they can launch it. We don't know that they can even like ICBM it, right?
Well, I guess Russia is our main nuclear like threat, right? But this is what I don't understand about the whole like adversary with them, because they're no longer Soviet Union. It crashed like in the 90s. I don't understand why we need NATO, because NATO was for the Soviet Union. It was created for all the countries to get together, like because of Russia. But after the Soviet fall, they kind of joined the rest of us. Right. So I'm like, why?
Well, we neutered the USSR, and then they fell, and then new Russia came in, and then they kind of were just like shit show Boris Yeltsin for a long time. And then now they're a global player again because we basically said we don't have any enemies anymore after Al Qaeda. Who's going to be the next big threat? Mitt Romney floated it during the presidential campaign of 2012 against Obama. He's like, the biggest threat right now is Russia, and Obama clowned him and said, the 1980s called and they want your foreign policy back. Wow. Yeah, and like that, but they always do what Joe called yesterday, priming. They set you up to know the enemy for the next thing that they're going to do.
So you feel like you came up with it on yourself, and you're like, I knew it. It's like, no, you didn't, fool. You got primed into fucking believing it.
But then NATO expansionism is why Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's not great. I'm not happy about it. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, no. NATO kept on creeping towards territories they said they wouldn't. They kept on moving in, and that's why we got to where we got to. And it's not good. I'm not happy that Putin did this shit. Are you kidding me? Although he saved me $100,000.
But also, I kind of get it from that point of view, because I'm like, they actually wanted to join.
Right.
They wanted to join all of that stuff, and they're like, you can't. And we're like, why? And then you start creating bases around. Doesn't that seem like antagonizing?
Bro, they were antagonizing the whole time. But that's what we always do, right? When we want to move into the Middle East and take everyone's oil, we go, Saddam Hussein has all kinds of fucked up stuff that's really messed up. And he shouldn't have it, even though we all have it, but he shouldn't have it.
But we should have the oil because we'll use it better.
Yeah, we'll use it better. And we'll sell all the oil contracts to China.
Yep.
Because that helps America. And that's what they did.
But isn't that the reason why it feels like you went from 100 to 90? Like it's getting closer and closer and closer to.
I think on top of the Ukraine-Russia war plus the Israel-Gaza conflict.
And China constantly threatening to bomb.
No, NATO mobilizing right now to square off against Russia is why this happened. NATO just recently mobilized, like within the last 72 hours. So
Yeah, but what I don't get is like, why would you like ruffle feathers with a nuclear country?
Well, because the Ukraine money is drying up, and the narrative is drying up, and so they need to do something about it.
But it's also technically still proxies, right? Meaning like I don't actually think that either one wants a war directly. Like it's not good for the US or Russia, just economically.
But we're
It's
posturing so much. Like there's ships and forces being sent and mobilized. Like
Everything's
so it could be like World War III.
I'll never claim to know again because, like I told Anthony when before Putin went into Ukraine, I was like, he's not going to do it. Because I didn't think...
Well, you didn't listen to Alex Jones, did you?
I did not.
He
I
said
just
it.
didn't think he would actually end up doing it because it would put him under such enormous international pressure. And I remember telling you that. And then when he did it, I was like, all right, dude, I don't fucking know anything.
but because of all of the above, to me, it does feel like it's getting closer and closer and closer to some crazy world conflict.
Seems pretty scary right now.
Hot take, what if this was an inside handshake deal among Putin and the Biden crime family? And he said, it's just, and then Ukraine, it said, this is the deal, okay? You guys have your war, we're going to have a little war, bam, 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 and then we're going to just pull back. And we're going to make a lot of money doing it.
Could be.
What the
It doesn't look like we're gonna make a lot of money
that
doing
little
it.
war, dude, like, because of the way that they have nuclear arms that can actually like work in a theater of war but small time, I'm too scared. Like you can launch a nuclear warhead that's small and like fuck up entire armies, and it doesn't do the same nuclear like Hiroshima effect.
Yeah.
So that's what scares me.
Like the mini ones. It's not big mushroom, it's small mushroom.
Exactly.
Little
But it's
it's little enoki versus big shiitake.
That's a big difference because shiitake can be like,
Yeah.
whereas enoki, like you see that in the
Yeah,
morning
one is
after
like-
you take a shit.
Nuclear bomb that could destroy Barstow instead of like LA.
Barstow's
Right.
a huge economical and military base for us.
Yeah.
And the other part, I think that's kind of scary too, is kind of like that whole like almost anti-patriotism act.
Yeah.
Across everywhere. So I think when you have less people believing, then there's more people pushing buttons now.
right,
You know what I mean? Like if I can't send 1,000 people, well, fuck. I just have to go down nuke. You know, I just start sending missiles because I have less people to actually fight the war. So it just feels like there's external and internal conflict. So it just feels like the boiling point is like it's rising, to me.
Well, I mean, the quote unquote, what are they called? The Atomic Committee? The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists who set the clock made the announcement, and they're the ones that are pushing and saying, hey, the Doomsday Clock is now 90 seconds. And obviously, we don't want that to get to midnight, but you know what I mean? At what point is it going to be enough of a call to action to world leaders to like figure out how to like slow that pace down?
I have a hot take.
Please.
Do you think it was more chill when Jeffrey Epstein was around? Because he got everyone jizzing and coming and stuff.
And he had them all under his finger.
But now you don't got people. Everyone's all pent up. They're like they got to release that pressure.
Oh, you mean them? Oh, you mean like world leaders coming?
Because they used to all jizz and come together.
What did you think he meant?
No, I thought it was like it's nice that he had them all under his control. So then now he can just be like, guys, no war.
Got it.
Okay, or else I'm gonna tell everybody that you fucking.
Oh no, I meant like he was letting the steam out of the tea kettle for a lot of the world
So
leaders.
Bart wants them to keep fucking the young ones.
Not the young ones.
Victims in this world, we might as well doomsday ourselves then. Fuck it.
Plus, I'm pretty sure there's many more people just like him that still are invisible.
He's a franchise?
Yep.
Yeah.
He probably is a protege of some other dude.
I did finally watch Sound of Freedom on the plane.
Oh, I need to watch that still.
Yo, that shit hurts.
You like it?
I didn't see it.
Like it?
It's about the Epstein people.
Like it.
But like
No,
human
it's about
trafficking
this-
of
yeah.
children, right?
Is it your favorite movie now? You're gonna watch it
March?
every
Oh,
month?
we're out of time. That's unfortunate.
Did you enjoy the soundtrack?
He bought the album because he just wants to keep replaying it.
I need to watch that, man.
I think Lizzo did the soundtrack.
Hey, Bart's off the seat. We're out of time, bro.